Hi, my name is Hank. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the first Ogryn two-handed weapons that have been released for Darktide, the Pickaxes. They were released yesterday with the Secrets of the Machine God update in 3 different variations. Right here we are looking at the biggest and baddest of them all, the Branks Pickaxe, the heavy variant, focused on strike down attacks and big single target damage. We have the middle child, the Barovian Pickaxe, moveset that incorporates both sweeps and strike downs in various combinations, with a special that pulls enemies towards you, setting them up for a follow-up attack. It also you run slightly faster with it than the heaviest one, which is a very slow sprint speed, similar to the shield. And in general, its attacks and combos are slightly faster. And then we have the third, the Cursola's Pickaxe, the lightest and smallest one. You can see here, relatively thin head on the pickaxe and a wooden shaft. This is the most agile one, featuring tons of sweeps up front in the attack chains and combos of these weapons, letting you sweep through hordes and groups of smaller enemies with ease. And it also features the highest sprint speed and stuff like fastest block time and unblock time among the pickaxes, just the best agile handling. But there are some tricks and tips to the movesets of these weapons. They are not as one-dimensional as they seem up front if you just swing their regular attacks around and don't try to combo them together too much. I will start with the biggest one, with the Bronx. This is, as it says here in the weapon data card, described as a strike down high damage weapon designed to dispatch bigger targets with one strike.
Grendel doesn't, I think.
It's not even a fully charged heavy. I put thrust on this. We go all the way. Easily dispatches even a crusher with one hit. And the light attacks are just this looping 3-hit chain of strike downs, easily dispatching lesser foes with each hit. However, you might think, well, that's a pretty one-dimensional weapon. If it can only do strike down attacks, then that's not very convenient because this is a horde shooter. There are also hordes. And no, there is a sweep in this weapon's moveset. The second heavy is a sweep, but that's kind of difficult to chain into. You have to do a heavy first, or you have to do a light attack first, and then the chain time is slow and awkward. Don't do any of that. Here's what you do. Once you are faced with a group or horde, and you have the Branks Pickaxe in your hands, the rotation that you start with is a push attack, followed by a heavy attack, followed by a light attack. Look at that. Another sweep, followed back by a heavy, light, heavy, light. And you can keep chaining these sweeps together. So the weapon does have a light sweep that chains into and out of the heavy sweep, but it doesn't appear if you're just spamming light attacks in a row. There is a sweep, but it's only accessible from the second heavy. And you can chain that hidden fourth light attack, the L4 if you will, back into the H2, the heavy 2, which is also a sweep. So, very strong strike down damage, but it also has a attack combination for hordes. Pretty versatile. Then, on the other end of the spectrum, we have the Cursola's Pickaxe that I mentioned before. The lightest one. A lot of sweeps in the movesets. As soon as you start swinging this, it just sweeps through groups. Even the heavies are just these 2 sweeps. Nice angle on them. Really ruin groups. Look at this damage that I'm doing. Just demolishing all these Groaners and Poxwalkers multiple at a time. But then you think, man, where's the strike down damage? What do I do if I'm faced with an elite? Well, conveniently, it does have a strike down heavy. Just not into and out of the other heavies. If you use the weapon special and you pull somebody closer, then it follows up with a strike down heavy attack. It's not a super powerful strike down.
Don't tell anyone. But Mel has a secret team
But
scouring
it
the
does
city.
exist. It's not as strong as Strike Down on the Bronx or on the Barovian, because this is a horde group control focused weapon. But it does have a strike down that you can access conveniently after pulling somebody closer. Bonk. Ooh. Bonk. Oh, I missed. You get the idea. If you don't want to do the special, it also comes out after this weapon's unique push attack, which is a funny jab. Very tiny hitbox though, you have to aim very specific. Does reasonably good damage too if you hit somebody in the eye with it. I think it's cool. You could even do something like this. That's a cool combo. Very sexy. Very unique to Ogryn weapons. This level of nuance and complexity to the moveset. Which is why I thought it was worth pointing out that these combos exist. Just for groups, on the Corsolas, you do whatever you want. You chain heavies and lights, it's all sweeps, baby. But you can open with a special, get some strike down action going, or with the push jab, and find a strike down in there too. The Barovian doesn't have hidden moves in and out of specific things in the attack chain so much. This thing is just put together differently in the sense that it has the same idea of a heavy attack after the special. This is not a hidden heavy attack, it just comes out as the second heavy. If you chain heavies like this, you will see that the strike down comes second after the sweep. But it's also very easily accessible through the pull. And this strike down is quite a bit more powerful, especially if you put thrust on it, than the one in the Corsolas. So you can definitely use this stagger, of course you're pulling towards you, pull him in, and then kill him. A little more setup required and more buffs required to reach the same one-shot power as the Bronx, which simply hits harder by virtue of being the biggest one. But it is there. Now, as for Horde Clear, this thing's light attack chain is a little funky. It opens with a sweep, and then it does 2 strike downs, and then ends with a sweep. It's very varied, but because it's a sweep and then 2 strike downs, and then another sweep, this is kind of... It's all over the place, so it's difficult to use if you want to deal with a group, because, well, you're not getting a constant series of sweeps, and if you're trying to deal with a single target, then you're not getting a constant series of strike down. So here the combo is to do the heavy first, and then a light sweep, and then the heavy again. This looks very similar to the Horde Clear combo with the Bronx Pickaxe, but you don't have to set up with the push attack first. You can just straight go into the sweep heavy, because on this pickaxe, it comes first. From neutral, you don't go into the strike down, you go into the sweep. But it does have a sort of a sweep push attack as well, using the butt of the staff. This has quite a decent amount of cleave and stagger. It doesn't do that much damage, but it sweeps through a bunch of people quite easily, setting you up to do that heavy attack with a little bit more safety if you need the space to wind up for that hit. One thing I find cool about the Barovian is the way that one of those light attack strike downs also chains after the special, which looks really slick. It's the uppercut. So if there's a dog, it's one of the things I love doing the most with this weapon. If there's a Poxhound running past you, you can yoink him towards you, and then immediately take his head off with the uppercut. I think it just looks... It looks so slick. Get over here, bonk! So that's really cool. And on bigger targets, you would use the special, but then go into the heavy attack. And then, if you need another strike down, that first heavy attack change into the 2 other strike downs in the light attack chain. So you can even do this. There you go. I think that's all of the unique quirks in the moveset, really. Well, there's one more thing I could cover. So the Corsolas and the Barovian have this pull special that sets up really perfectly for a strike down attack. This pull debuffs enemies, so they take 10% more damage after being yoinked. And then you can also put a blessing like Torment, which I have here, which gives you a plus 24% power boost for 3.5 seconds after weapon special hit. So the debuff that enemies have received when you pull them, combined with the Torment buff, combined with, for example, Thrust, gives you a ton of bonus damage after yoinking this Crusher. But, well, why wouldn't you do the same thing on the Bronx? Good question, in case you were asking. If you've used this weapon, you will have noticed as well. It doesn't actually have the pull. It's too big. The Ogryn can't deftly hook the pickaxe behind the opponent. It's just too heavy, it doesn't work. Instead, he does a little shunt, a little shove, a little quick boom, stagger. And this does not chain into a big strike down heavy. In fact, the Ogryn does a kind of a cool but long animation where he moves the hands, moves his hands along the shaft so that he can, well, shaft of his weapon, guys, come on. So that he can grip it for a sideways strike. I think it would be cool if the shove also chained into the strike down heavy, but for some reason it doesn't work that way. Maybe something to do with that animation of changing the grip that only works with the heavy sweep coming from the other direction. I don't really know. And at the moment, this was probably going to be outdated information really soon, but at the moment, the Torment Blessing isn't triggered by this push. It's probably hard-coded to the pull for some reason. So from that, we can infer that this pickaxe used to also have the pull special, and it was changed to the shove. And now the shove doesn't trigger the power on special effects. So that setup doesn't work with this weapon. But as I demonstrated already, fortunately, this thing hits so incredibly hard that I don't think you really need the special or the bonus damage. You can just... especially if you use heavy hitter, any amount of extra bonus damage from the tree, any amount of heavy hitter stacks, or any amount of slaughterer or head taker stacks, if you put that blessing on this weapon along with thrust, will give you enough damage to one-shot even a crusher. It also very handily... Oh. Get some carapace there. Dispatches of wargs really fast. Well, they're very tanky now because their HP was buffed, but it only takes 2 heavies. Immediately destroys these guys. Just a really strong strike down focused weapon with that opening heavy attack that you don't really need the special to set up for the one shot. It was a very lengthy explanation to say one thing, but I'm kind of tired, so sorry if this was more rambly than usual. I just wanted to get this information out there. So remember, if you have the Bronx, the big boy, for groups, open with that push attack, chain into the heavy attack, do that unique light attack follow-up, do the heavy again, do the light, and you can keep chaining this as long as you need. If you drop the combo, you can just restart it with another push, heavy, etc. And on the Chrysolas, one more for good measure, once more for good measure. If you want to strike down, just do the special, and you can do a quick strike down after that. Do the push attack, and the same strike down comes out. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching. Enjoy these weapons. I hope you like them. Some of you who are familiar with me already may know I'm one of the community playtesters for this game. I was involved in the refining and polishing and balancing and tweaking of these pickaxes. I'm also a co-author of the Ogronomicon. I really love Ogryn, and I'm really excited that these 200 weapons are finally in the game for him. And we spent a lot of time and effort into working with the developers to make these as cool and powerful and interesting as we could, as evidenced in those unique combos and hidden moves in the attack chains, which is completely unique to the Ogryn melee arsenal. He has never had anything like this before. So, you know, it may require you to rub your 2 Ogryn brain cells together a little harder than you're used to, but I promise that it's worth it. You will gain a ton of value and fun out of these weapons when used to their max potential. So, have a great time, and I will see you guys in Tertium. Purge some heretics for me. Peace.